The state of Connecticut is presenting a bill that will literally put every FFL out of business. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification, multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And you like channel, like content, what I do, you can support me with the link. Everything's appreciated. And let's jump right in because you know about my merch. I just want to get into this because this is insane. The 2025 legislative year here in Connecticut, a number of gun bills are being floated around, some pro, a lot con. One of those is Bill 5487, which makes the owner of a firearm liable if that firearm is used in a misdemeanor or felony. Now, the bill is very aloof in its language because they're not telling you under what circumstances, which makes it very, very nefarious because what if your gun is stolen? You report it as stolen, and it gets used in a crime. Are they saying that you're now liable? Once again, it's aloof language, but the one I really want to get into is the one that was proposed yesterday. This is a raised bill in the judiciary. It's bill number 7042. And we're going to dive into this one because this one is a freaking doozy. The gist of this bill is if a gun is sold by a licensed dealer, it goes deeper. But just to give you an example, by a licensed dealer and the gun is used in a crime, the victim of that crime can then sue not only the person who committed the crime, but the FFL that sold the gun. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. But an act concerning implementation of the Firearm Industry Responsibility Act. This act will, if it goes into law, will be effective October 1st and applicable to any civil action filed on or after said date, as used in this section and section 2 and 3 of this act. Now, listen to these definitions. Firearm industry member means a person, firm, corporation, company, partnership, society, joint stock, company, trade association, or any other entity or association engaged in the manufacture, distribution, importation, marketing, wholesale, or retail sale of firearm industry products. Anyone who talks about guns, promotes guns, markets guns, is liable under this idea and becomes a firearm industry member. Keep that in mind. Firearm industry product means any of the following, which are or were sold, made, or distributed in this state, intended to be sold or distributed in this state, or possessed in this state and it was reasonably foreseeable that such product would be possessed in this state. Ammunition or a magazine are those terms as defined in section 29-38M of the general statutes. A firearm as defined in section 53A-3 of the general statutes, an unfinished frame or low receiver as defined in section 53-206J of the general statutes, a firearm component or a firearm accessory. Now, what does this mean? You could still technically buy a low receiver as long as you're building something that's legal, like a bolt action. But if the FFL sells the low receiver and that person takes it home and goes, screw it, I'm going to make some crazy illegal item, the FFL is now responsible because they should have reasonably known that this person was going to do something illegal. Firearm component, same thing. A scope. You sell a scope to somebody and they use it in an illegal manner. They shoot somebody, you're liable. Firearm accessory, a light. It's attached to the firearm. The firearm was used in the crime. I hope you're starting to catch on to just how crazy this is. But firearm trafficker means an individual who engages in, conspires to engage in, or attempts to engage in conduct that constitutes firearms trafficking as described in section 53-202AA of the general statutes, or trafficking in firearms as described in 18 U.S.C. 933. This is already illegal. I don't know why this language needed to put in here. Reasonable controls means procedures, acts, and practices that are designed, implemented, and enforced to do all of the following. Prevent the sale or distribution of a firearm industry product to a straw purchaser, illegal. A firearm trafficker, illegal. A person prohibited from possessing a firearm under state or federal law. Illegal. It's already illegal. All this is illegal. Or a person about whom there is reasonable cause to believe that such person is at substantial risk of using a firearm industry product to harm themselves or another, or of possessing or using a firearm industry product unlawfully. So now you have to be a mind reader psychic. When you sell a product, firearm industry product to somebody, you got to be able to look into their soul and see that they're a good person. That's what they're telling you here. Because if that person takes a gun out and does something under this bill, takes a firearm out and does something nefarious, commits a crime with it, you're liable because you should reasonably foresee that this was going to happen. Ensure that a firearm industry member complies with Section 29-28B of the General Statutes. C. Prevent the sale or distribution of a firearm industry product designed, sold, advertised, marketed, or promoted in a manner that foreseeably promotes conversion of a legal firearm industry product into an illegal firearm industry product. Yes, understand what they're saying here. You sell a legal product to somebody, they take it home and change it into an illegal product. You should have foreseen that. Now you're liable for whatever they do. A perfect example is a Glock. You sell a Glock, they take it home and put a Glock switch on it. That's your fault. You should have foreseen this. Ensure that a firearm industry member complies with the provisions of Section 2 of this Act and all other applicable provisions of state and federal law and does not otherwise advertise, market, or promote the unlawful manufacture, sale, possession, marketing, or use of a firearm industry product. Like I said, if I come on here and talk about a specific product and that product gets used in an illegal manner by someone else that I have no association with, I could be held liable because I should have foreseen this. Straw purchase means an individual engages in or attempts to engage in conduct that violates subsection A of Section 29-34 of the General Statutes, Section 29-37E of the General Statutes, 18 U.S.C. 932, which is already illegal. But effective October 1st, 2025, a firearm industry member shall establish, implement, and enforce reasonable controls. Notice they're not telling you what those are, because this is a gotcha, period. No firearm industry member shall provide a firearm industry product to another firearm industry member when there is reasonable cause to believe that such firearm industry member is engaged in conduct that is in violation of this section. Here's the catch-all. FFL 1 sells a product to FFL 2. FFL 2 does something illegal with it. FFL 1 is now liable. That's what they're telling you here. And I would go further to say, because don't think they won't go there. FFL 1 sells product to FFL 2. FFL 2 transfers to individual. Individual commits a crime. It's going to hopscotch its way right back to FFL 1 and hold everybody across the board liable. That's what they're trying to say here. No firearm industry member shall advertise, market, or promote firearm industry products in this state in a manner that promotes unlawful sales, unlawful use, or use that promotes risk to public safety. Once again, aloof language. Period. But effective October 1st and applicable to any civil action filed on or after said date, an act or omission by a firearm industry member that fails to comply with any provisions of Section 2 of this Act constitutes a violation of said section and shall be actionable under this section. Wow. A civil action in a court of competent jurisdiction to enforce this section or remedy harm caused by violation of Section 2 of this Act may be brought by a person who has suffered harm in this state because of a firearm industry member's violation of Section 2 of this Act, the corporation counsel or other chief legal officer of a municipality in the name of the municipality, or the attorney general in the name of the state. So what they're saying here is, if you violate this foreseeable action, or you should have reasonably known that this was going to happen, not only the person who has suffered the harm can come at you, the city can come at you, and the attorney general of the state can come at you. And you best believe tongue will line up for days to come after any FFL that they can suck into this thing and claim that they're responsible for the actions of another person simply because they sold the product. It's incredible. But any person bringing an action pursuant to subdivision 1 or 2 of the subsection B of this section shall provide notice of such action to the Attorney General not later than 30 days after the date of filing such action. So you file a lawsuit against the FFL, the city files a lawsuit against the FFL. You have to notify the Attorney General just so he knows what's going on so he can get on board too. This is just basically, we're going to bankrupt the licensed dealer or the firearm industry member. That's what they're saying here. Where more than one plaintiff brings an action arising from the same conduct, transaction, or occurrence, the state may, upon the motion of any party or upon its own motion, order that the actions be consolidated and any recovery shall be allocated among the plaintiffs in proportion to their demonstrated damages. In an action alleging that a firearm industry member failed to establish, implement, and enforce reasonable controls, which are not telling you what those are, in violation of Section 2 of this Act, there shall be a rebuttable presumption that the firearm industry member failed to implement reasonable controls if the firearm industry member's act or omission created or increased a reasonably foreseeable risk of the harm alleged occurring, and the firearm industry member could have established, implemented, and enforced reasonable controls, which they don't tell you what those are, to prevent or lower the risk of the harm alleged occurring, but failed to do so. Wow. If a court determines that a firearm industry member has violated any provisions of Section 2 of this Act, the court may award any or all of the following: injunctive relief, sufficient to prevent the firearm industry member and any other defendant from further violating the law. Means they can stop your business, put it on hold. Compensatory damages, punitive damages, restitution, any other appropriate relief necessary to enforce the provisions of Chapter 529 of the General Statutes and remedy the harm caused by the conduct. In addition to the relief permitted under subsection F of this section, if a court determines that a firearm industry member has violated any provisions of Section 2 of this Act, the court shall award costs and attorney fees to the prevailing plaintiffs. A prevailing plaintiff may recover a civil penalty of not more than $10,000 for each violation, and the court may suspend or revoke any permits issued to the firearm industry member under Section 29-28 of the General Statutes. Which means they can remove your permits in order for you to do business within the city limits, because you have to have permission from each city to sell specific items in an FFL. I guarantee you, they'll just say, no, you're not going to do any business in this state. Let me come out of that. This is insane. This is absolute insanity. Once again, the state of Connecticut is punishing the law-abiding with this ridiculous notion that it's going to make things better. We already had SB 1160, then we had HB 6667, and nothing has changed as far as crime goes in this state. Not one bit. Because it's not about that. They are using this to circumvent the Second Amendment. This is a way to get around it. You literally just make it impossible for FFLs to do business in the state, and they will pack up or just shut their doors. What does that do? That reduces the number of shops that you can go to actually exercise that right, and it will squash gun sales. That's what they're trying to do. If you watch me enough, I talk about this a lot. Because of the Supreme Court and all these assault weapon ban cases that are coming through the courts, I speculated, and I'm 100% sure I'm on the money with this, that certain states would start to implement more egregious gun laws in anticipation of one of these assault weapon ban cases getting to the Supreme Court. Because the court way is made up now. They know they're going to lose. Assault weapon bans are unconstitutional. So I'm not surprised by this, because I said this was going to happen. They're going to make it harder and harder and harder for, especially in Connecticut, for you to own a gun, for you to defend yourself, for you to even sell a gun. I said this is going to happen, and here it comes. This is what they're trying to do. Now, this is in the judiciary, but you can expect it to come out because, once again, we've had a one-party rule for too long, and there has to be a change in the guard in this state. Because not only are we being bombarded left and right when it comes to our individual freedoms and rights, we're also being just crucified socially by idiotic leftist policies. This is in the judiciary, and there's no doubt it's going to go to the floor for a vote, and the usual hustlers are going to be out there telling you that this is about the safety. This is about your safety. This is about your safety. But I wonder one thing. Ask any one of these people who claim that all these gun bills are going to save lives. Ask them to name one victim of the New Orleans truck attack. Name one victim. And they can't. Why? Because it's not about your safety. They don't give a rat's ass about your safety. This is about them and their agenda, and as much as they like to call Trump Hitler, they are doing Third Reich stuff right here. It's incredible. So you got to get the grassroots going. CCDL is the forefront of this. They stand between us and this authoritarian government. Sign up, join up, donate, get things going. Because, like I said, you got a couple of bills coming up that are going to really, really put a pucker in your butt when it comes to being a gun owner. So let's step up. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.